Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're looking at the top 10 national flags and their histories. Number 10. France.
The French flag is the greatest source of inspiration for other national flags. Pretty much every other national flag in the world with 3 equally wide vertical bands was inspired directly or indirectly by the French. But where did it come from, and how come it's so easily recognizable? Well, technically, the French weren't the first to adopt a tricolour flag, or for that matter, to use red, white and blue as its colours. That was the Dutch, but we'll be getting to them shortly. The famous French flag stems from the French Revolution in 1789, and like every other conflict, the opposing sides needed to have distinct banners so they could tell each other apart. Pre-revolutionary France had a white flag adorned with many fleurs-de-lis. The white is strongly linked with the monarchy and dates back to Joan of Arc during the 1400s. She used a white banner with a picture of Jesus in her battles against the English. In 1789, the revolutionaries sought inspiration from the flag of Paris, which is made out of 2 vertical bands of blue and red. They then added the historic white between the two as a symbol of the monarchy being subdued by the people. The blue of the Parisian flag comes from St. Martin of Tours and the legend surrounding his cloak. The red represents the banner of Abbey of St. Denis and is more commonly known as the Oriflamme, or Golden Flame. France did, however, change flag several times during the Napoleonic period when the old Bourbon monarchy was brought back to power. From 1815 to 1830, France had a plain white flag, until the July Revolution when King Louis-Philippe I came to power and reintroduced the tricolour.
Number 9. The Netherlands.
The Dutch flag is the oldest tricolour in existence and dates back to Charlemagne's time during the 9th century, but in a somewhat different arrangement. A more similar variant has been used since 1572 when the Netherlands went into a rebellion under William I, Prince of Orange, fighting a war of independence against King Philip II of Spain. Similar to the present-day flag, the one back then used orange instead of red. Orange was the colour of the prince's coat of arms. However, the orange dye was quite unstable and turned into red after a while. Fortunately, red was the original colour used by the region during the previous centuries, and the flag was officially changed in 1630. The Dutch flag became the inspiration for many other flags and banners around the world, especially in their own colonies. New York City's flag is based on the old Dutch flag, so are the flags of Orange and Nassau counties in New York State. Another country that drew inspiration from the tricolour was Russia, which rearranged the colours and adopted it as its national flag in the late 17th century. Many other Slavic states in Europe, including Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, the Czech Republic, and Croatia, modelled their banners on Russia's using the so-called Pan-Slavic colours, horizontal stripes of red, blue, and white.
Number 8. Palestine.
Though unrecognised by many other nation-states, the flag of Palestine presents a striking resemblance to the original flag of the Arab revolt against the Ottoman rule at the end of World War I. The colours used for both the Palestinian flag and that during the Arab Revolt are also used by several other Arab states today. They're commonly known as the Pan-Arab colours. Also very similar to Jordan's flag, the Palestinian tricolour is made out of 3 horizontal bands and a red triangle issuing from the hoist. The 4 colours used here were first mentioned together in a verse by 14th century Iraqi poet Safi al-Din al-Hil. White are our acts, black our battles, green our fields, and red our swords. When the colours were chosen during World War I, red represented the Khawari. That was the first Islamic group to revolt against Caliph Ali, cousin and son of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. The red banner became the symbol of the Islamic rulers of Andalusia, 756 to 1355. Green represented Caliph Ali, who once covered himself in a green quilt instead of the prophet in order to thwart an assassination attempt. The Fatimid dynasty, 909 to 1171, was the one to take up this colour for its banners. White stands for the Umayyad Caliphate, 661 to 750, which took up the colour as a symbol of the prophet's first battle at Badr. Black stands for Muhammad himself.
Number 7. South Korea.
Officially adopted in 1949, though in existence since the early 1880s, the South Korean flag is known as Taegukgi or Great Extremes. The flag is a plain white field, which itself represents peace and purity. Then in its center is a red and blue yin-yang symbol, which represents opposites or extremes. Part of the Chinese I Ching divination text from 900 BC, the earliest use of the yin-yang symbol can be found within the Tripilia culture in Eastern Europe. This dates back an extra 1,000 years before its Chinese version. The symbol here represents the belief that all aspects of the universe have a duality of positive, red, and negative blue that cannot exist without the other. Surrounding the yin-yang, there are 4 groups of 3 long and short black bars called kwai. These are also part of the I Ching text. They represent the 4 classical elements and the natural form in which they're presented. The broken bars represent yin, dark and cold. The unbroken bars symbolize yang, bright and hot. These 4 kwai stand for heaven, air, 3 unbroken bars, earth, 3 broken bars, the moon, water, 1 unbroken line between 2 broken bars, and the sunfire, 1 broken bar between 2 unbroken bars. Each of these kwai are placed opposite of its counterpart for balance.
Number 6. Venezuela.
The Venezuelan flag dates back to their war for independence, 1810 to 1823, against the Spanish Empire. The colors and design used are attributed to Francisco de Miranda, who unsuccessfully tried to liberate Venezuela in 1806. In 1811, however, the first variation of the flag came into being. It had unequal yellow, blue, red stripes and a white canton showing a complex emblem. Throughout the duration of the war, some other variations were used, and in 1821, the tricolor was adopted by the region of Gran Colombia. This region was a temporary republic that later broke off into present-day Colombia, Panama, Venezuela, and Ecuador. Both Colombia and Ecuador use a similar layout and identical colors for their flags today. From 1864 until 2006, the Venezuelan flag had a 7-star arch in the middle. These represented the 7 provinces that supported the war for independence. The country's coat of arms was located in the top left corner. The red is said to represent courage or possibly Spain. Blue is for Venezuela's independence from the Spanish Empire. It could also represent the Atlantic Ocean, which separates the two. Yellow stands for the country's riches and new opportunities. The latest modification to the flag was brought on in 2006 when an additional star was added in memory of the country's hero, Simon Bolivar. It stands for the historical region of Guyana.
Number 5. United Kingdom.
We're not really sure just how united the kingdom is after Brexit, but that's neither here nor there. Also known as the Union Jack, the flag of the United Kingdom is made out of the individual flags of England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. The flag of England can also be called the St. George's Cross. It is believed that Richard the Lionheart was the one who adopted a red cross on a white field during the Third Crusade when it was used by the French. The Scottish flag is also known as the St. Andrew's Cross. Its origins revolve around the martyr St. Andrew, who is the patron saint of Scotland. According to legend, he was crucified on an X-shaped cross. This symbol first began to appear in Scotland in 1180 during the rule of William I. The first confirmed historical use of the white X on a blue field was in 1542. The English and Scottish crosses merged together in 1606 after James IV of Scotland became the ruler of all 3 British Isle kingdoms. The Irish St. Patrick's saltire began to be associated with Ireland as a whole only in 1783 and was adopted as an emblem by the Order of St. Patrick, which itself was created by the English King George III. As a result of this, many Irish nationalists disregard this symbol. They consider it an English invention. In 1801, with the inclusion of Ireland into the kingdom, the Union Jack took on the form that it has today.
Number 4. Denmark.
The Danish flag, or Dannebrog, cloth of the Danes, is the oldest flag still in use today. A simple design, it represents a cross in a rectangular field. The center of the cross is shifted towards the hoist. This shifted cross is known as a Scandinavian cross and was subsequently adopted by the other Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands, as well as the Shetland and Orkney archipelagos. Each has its own color variations. Within the Danish flag itself, the colors don't have any specific symbolism, but the white of the cross is believed to represent honesty and peace, while red stands for valor, bravery, and strength. Legend has it that during the Battle of Lindenice in 1219, when the Danes were waging a crusade against the Estonians and the fighting was shifting in favor of the pagans, the Dannebrog fell from the sky. This gave the Danes enough courage to win the battle. The first recorded use of this flag, however, was in the 1300s. Greenland is the only Nordic region which has a different flag design.
Number 3. The United States of America.
The Star-Spangled Banner can trace its roots back to the American Revolution. The original 13 colonies are represented by horizontal red and white stripes on the flag itself. Initially, the Old Glory had the Union Jack in the upper left-hand corner, the Grand Union, but this was quickly replaced by 13 stars on a blue field. Today, that field has a total of 50 stars representing the 50 states. But the history of the American flag, similar to its revolution, is a bit more complicated than that. The revolution started off as a mere protest, which ultimately ended up in independence. The horizontal stripes can be traced back to the beginning of the protest, to the Sons of Liberty, better known as the guys who threw tea in Boston Harbor. In 1767, the Sons of Liberty adopted a flag called the Rebellious Stripes flag, with 9 vertical stripes of red and white. The star pattern, on the other hand, can trace its origins to George Washington's headquarters flag in 1775. It was a plain blue banner with 13 6-pointed stars arranged in a 3-2-3-2-3 horizontal pattern. The story of Betsy Ross designing the first American flag with 13 stars after the nation declared its independence is mere speculation. More likely to have designed the flag is Francis Hopkinson, who also signed the Declaration of Independence. Up until 1912, Congress didn't set the specifics on where the blue field would be positioned, how many points the stars should have, or how the parallel white and red stripes should be arranged. Due to this, there have been a number of variations.
Number 2. Ethiopia.
Ethiopia has always identified itself with its green, yellow, red national colors. Its flag draws inspiration from the Book of Genesis. It associates these colors with the rainbow from the story of the flood. The same colors were used for the flag of the Ethiopian Empire in 1897, 1 year after they decisively defeated the Italians in the Battle of Adwa. These 3 colors have been used in Ethiopia as early as the 17th century. They were part of the official banner of the Ethiopian Empire's Solomonic dynasty. Red represents sacrifice for freedom and equality, green is equated with labor development and fertility, and yellow stands for hope and justice. Except for a brief period under Italian control during the 1930s, Ethiopia remained outside European control during the colonial era. Because of this, the country and its national colors drew admiration and offered inspiration for many other African nations in their struggle for independence. As a result, the 3 colors of the Ethiopian flag, plus black, are considered today to be the Pan-African colors. The first state to adopt a red, gold, and green flag upon independence in Africa was Ghana in 1957. The South African flag is a combination of these colors and the flag of the Netherlands. On February 6, 1996, the final addition to the Ethiopian flag was added, an outlined golden 5-pointed star with a blue disc. This blue disc stands for peace, and the star represents the equality of all Ethiopians, regardless of race, sex, or creed.
Number 1. Nepal.
Nepal's flag is the only one in the world not to have 4 sides, and instead has a shape formed by 2 intersecting triangles. Its red color is that of the rhododendron, Nepal's national flower. The blue border around it symbolizes peace. Adopted in 1962, the unusual shape of the flag was designed to show the Himalayan mountains, a very important aspect of Nepal. The sun within the lower triangle represents determination and a fierce resolve. The moon in the upper part stands for peace, tranquility, and harmony. Both of these elements stand together, representing the hopes that Nepal will be as everlasting as these 2 heavenly bodies. It's also the only country whose flag design and construction are written into the constitution. It gives a 24-step mathematical walkthrough for designing the intricate flag. The previous flag of Nepal prior to 1962 was of similar shape and somewhat more intricate in design. It was used in the country for more than 2,000 years.
So I really hope you found that video about flags interesting. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you got video suggestions for us, why not let us know in the comments. We can't reply to them all, but we do read as many as we can, and we'd like to see them. And if you see a suggestion you like, just give it a thumbs up to let us know that you like it. Also, over there on the right are a couple of other videos you might want to check out if you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.